Road trip time. Here we go again. Today's agenda, good old-fashioned California road trip. Really like the longest one anyone can do. We started all the way down in San Diego, and we're gonna end up all the way at the top, Crescent City, California. A town most people haven't even heard of. It's so far up north. People think San Francisco is NorCal. No. This is like 8 hours past that, and we're heading there. But you can see, I got a friend in the back. Good old road trip. Let's do it. Let's see this entire state. I'll say the pup is being pretty good. For just a complete random dog I've never met before. Being pretty chill back there, huh, baby? It took 6 hours last night to bond with this dog before she would let me anywhere near her. So I have earned this chill vibe. Hard earned. And we've entered the main LA basin area. Pretty darn clear day, too. You can actually get a good look at those distant mountains. I don't want to jinx it, but making pretty good time. Have not hit any traffic since, I think, like Lake Elsinore or so. And as you can see from those cascade waterfalls on the right, we are about through LA, so making some pretty incredible time. Those cascades are a historic landmark. They were built about 110 years ago. I want to say it's 1913. Part of the LA aqueduct system, coming out all the way from Bishop, California, where that water's sourced. All right, moving on from Santa Clarita. We're now working our way through the Grapevine, about to enter that great Central Valley. This trip, it almost looks like an ocean, only you can see some snowy peaks of the Sierra Nevadas there, pretty center screen. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if that's just some low-lying smoke from a distant fire. There's not really that much smog in the Central Valley. Look what they make there. We have finally gotten through the Central California Valley. It's quite slow and boring. Worked our way into kind of wine country area here near Napa, just north of the Bay Area. We'll be passing the night here. I got a friend up this way, so I'm going to be spending the night over at his place before working our way on to California road trip day 2. This is very much a 2-day state. Sun kind of cascading down on the mountains there. Definitely lending to the beauty of this overall area. And California road trip day 2 just beginning. It's about 8 a.m. Made it pretty far yesterday. We're all the way up in Sebastopol, which is, I don't know, maybe an hour or so north of San Francisco. Came up here, visited an old friend I got who's living here now. Stopped in Santa Rosa, got some bomb-ass Mexican food. Always got to do that when I hit Santa Rosa. They've got many a food truck, and it's some really good stuff. My favorite elote ever, it's the Mexican corn, is up here in Santa Rosa at a food truck, and just handmade tamales, and oh god, it's good. So anytime I'm up here, I generally like to stop there, but had a fun night in Sebastopol. Buddy lives there, he's got a nice house. Played some darts in the backyard, some beers, a few laughs. Definitely a good time. Hung out with his sweet little boxer pup named Betty White. This bitch just entertaining herself. It's like she's playing with an invisible friend. Betty White. But anyway, today is going to be a very beautiful day. This is the best part of the California road trip, the 101, up through the redwoods and everything. There's so much to see. I'm going to try to take in a lot of it. It's going to be fun. Beautiful day, too. Let's do it. Very scenic highway through Northern California. It's the road we're going to be on for the next 5.5, 6 hours, give or take. A lot to see. It's going to be fun. We've made it to our first stop here in Ukiah. Always like to stop here and check out this really unique cemetery. A lot of just bizarre gravestones, very old ones. It's a very picturesque area, and I swear I get lucky. Every time I come here, I see a bunch of deer, and this is no exception. I don't know if you can see them in this shot, but they're right behind me. They're well aware of me. They know I'm here, and they're just kind of staring at me majestically. But God, there's always deer roaming here. It's a very beautiful place. Just off the highway, too. A lot of little towns like this to stop in. Ukiah is one of my favorites. I never really like to go to a place and like expect there's going to be deer or wildlife there, because it's like, you know, you can't really set your watch to that. You never know. It's too random, but every time I come here, I get lucky, and there's just bunches of them roaming around in a just generally beautiful and serene location as well. I mean, I know it's a cemetery, a little creepy, but I think it's beautiful and strangely fascinating. First stop, Ukiah. Always plenty to see here, you know, besides creepy cemeteries and deer, which I always get lucky with. They've got that really weird redwood service station from the days of very old Highway 101 when that was an actual service station. And luckily today, it was actually open inside, so we got to go inside and check that out. Ooh, it's open today. Nice, this is usually closed when I drive by. I've been in here since I was a kid. There's an attic. All the inside of a tree. Pretty unique stop. Passing through the town of Willits. Not there's too much to see here. This is an old Highway 101 town. Been here for a long time. There's only about 4,000 people here today. Pretty little town, but all the same, still kind of nice just to pull off the highway. These little roads run adjacent to the main modern highway, so it's just kind of nice to pull off and see the little towns as you pass through them. There's always a couple of weird things to look at. Cool old building. Hotel van. Might be the first redwoods we've seen. Not super big, but there's more coming. Much better ones, too. Yeah, now we're in the thick of it. Windy 101 through some of these old redwood groves. Naturally, you're always going to run into a couple spots where there's one-lane traffic, so try not to let it ruin your day. It always happens. Usually only takes maybe about 10-15 minutes, though. And before you know it, you are hauling ass again, right through the forest. And no shortage of scenic turnouts to pull off at. Get out, stretch your legs, or in this case, try to get the dog to pee. Good pup. Let's go over here. I love these old little highways and bridge crossings that are kind of just off of the main highway. Completely untraveled these days, other than, you know, a few campers and fishermen and stuff like that, so kind of feel pretty safe even just walking across a bridge that clearly has no sidewalks of any kind. But I have not seen another car here, so beautiful part of the state. Definitely some landscape you don't get really anywhere else in the world up here. Like the One Log House, tourist attraction here in Garberville. Strangely, we did actually just see one of these in Florida, of all places. The Ripley's in St. Augustine, they have one of these, no doubt shipped from out west. I mean, probably not the same physical log, but certainly the same concept. Looks to be closed to... What the... Oh, badass. Can't say I was expecting that. Yeah, unfortunately, the One Log House was closed, but that was pretty cool. That super old car over there. Oh, way too old for me to have any idea what that was. I'll have to ask Ryan, my car buddy, but that was pretty cool. Did you hear that horn? That was awesome. All right, time to make our way through the rest of town. This is Garberville, another little stop along the 101. Not a whole lot to see here, so we're gonna get back on the road to the next stop. All right, we have veered off the highway here at the Avenue of the Giants. This really could be its own destination. A lot of people drive up here specifically just to see the Avenue of the Giants. Very impressive scenic byway, runs along the 101. All these very mature old redwood groves. You can drive right along them. There's tons of places to park and get out and explore. Just the smell is wonderful, let alone the sights. As you can see, we're here on the forest moon of Endor. It's pretty close to where it was filmed, actually, Return of the Jedi. Oh, man, look at all of this, though. This is such an amazing byway through here. These ridiculously tall trees. Giants indeed. Different kinds of redwoods. Some of the coast redwoods. You see kind of Santa Cruz area. And down there, Sequoia National Park. Been there before. Need to make a video about that, though. Haven't been there in my YouTube days. It's so funny. I've been so used to seeing redwoods, even growing up in Southern California. Like, we would come up here and see the redwood forest. So for me, it's almost like a normal kind of thing. Or if you live up here, it's probably very normal. But it's pretty crazy. Some of you are probably watching this from way different places in the world where this kind of tree just does not exist, nor does anything like it. There's a weird pine tree in my neighborhood in Pacific Beach down in San Diego that's like, I don't know how tall, but probably over 100 feet. It's definitely the tallest tree in the area. It's much taller than the palm trees and stuff. And it's just funny to think, like, you know, in one area, that's a tall tree, and in other areas, this freaking ridiculous thing. It would take me a minute just to walk around. I mean, that, good Lord. Good Lord. Whew, amazing. This place is amazing. Oh, cool. This giant tree here, you see, the horizontal one, obviously fallen at some point, and it has sort of made a little bridge. So I don't think I'm going to crawl across that and kill myself, but look at that. That's cool. If you absolutely had to get across the river, that would be your way. Oh, are those corgis? Yes, they are. Little corgis. All right, I guess if you really had to traverse that river, you could probably just walk across it. But it's still cool. Man, that was a big tree. There's one end of it way up there, and then way up there. That's all the same tree. That must be the top end, 'cause it's definitely thinner. Damn, imagine hearing or seeing that fall. Whew. Speaking of that, I wonder what this river looked like a couple weeks ago when we were having all that record rainfall. I'm surprised it's as mellow as this. Ah, just beautiful here. Just love it. Hey, I'm surprised there's not more flood damage. We've got just way, like, record-setting rain the last few weeks. And, God, a lot of people warned me when I was driving up this way. A lot of stuff was going to be flooded and to be careful. And, you know, I'm in that little Mazda 6, so not too prepared for flood waters, but not too bad. Everything's just real fertile and lush. All this kind of shit growing everywhere. Passing through the town of Myers Flat along the Avenue of the Giants. This is one of several locations that has a tree you can drive through, a full living in-the-ground redwood that just happens to have like this big tunnel in the bottom of it, which, you know, if you've never done that or seen that before, it's kind of a must-see. So I would kind of recommend it. If you have done it a few times, like I have, it's kind of like, I drove under part of a tree, and they definitely charge you for it, so I'm not going to be stopping there today. God, just mile after mile of this kind of road, and it really doesn't get old. Every turn you're kind of excited to see the crazy trees and rocks and cliffs and rivers that are just waiting around the bend. And sometimes you get here under the canopy where it gets real dark even in the middle of the day. And this one's cool. Definitely some old fire damage. Still just a massive stump. Completely, well, not completely hollowed out, but pretty close. Got the car parked there, kind of just give this like a sense of scale. I mean, that tree behind it is much larger than the car itself. It's crazy. And just a bit taller. Patch of sun. Oh, is that a Sasquatch? Oh, no, just a guy and a dog. Okay, we're about back to the northern end of the Avenue of the Giants, heading back into some city life. Brewery tours. And just got to the town of Eureka. Like usually when you tell people you're going to like way northern California, they assume Eureka is what you're talking about. Most people think the state ends here. It does not. Going about another 90 minutes past this even, all the way up to Crescent City. But Eureka is its own pretty full-functioning town. They've got a Costco gas station, which makes this about the cheapest place to get gas I would say anywhere past Santa Rosa, which is like 5-6 hours back. But honestly, I did just see there is a Costco, a brand new one in Ukiah, where we stopped earlier and saw those deer, and they've got a gas station there. So now there are 2 Costco gas stations in the far northern California region. So, man, other than that, all these other gas stations are like, well over $5. And, you know, I filled up at other places in California for as low as $3.75. So, all right, filled up the tank. Got myself a hot dog and a slice of pizza while you're there. And I'm just kind of cruising through Eureka. Definitely some interesting houses and stuff here. Not the type of architecture you see in the rest of the state, really. Weird little old hippie town. And onward and upward. Up north through this last little bit. Far reaches of Northern California. Just outside Eureka is this weird row of like 500 eucalyptus trees. These are not native to the area. I believe they were planted here to like cut down on coastal wind, I imagine. It can get pretty damn cold and windy at some of these beaches up here. It's not like Southern California. Getting pretty far north. I'm starting to see signs for Portland and shit. This is actually good elk territory too, not just the deer we saw earlier, but you'll see some big, holy shit, they are out right now. Look at these fucking things. Woohoo! Oh my good God, we're pulling off. I see your deer and raise you an elk. Oh, he's looking at me. Damn, these things are big. They're like horses. A bunch more over here. Like I said, a lot of elk in this area. We're gonna whisper so we don't freak them out. There's a bunch of them there, and every time I make a noise, they look at me, so I think they have good hearing. Yeah, look at those big old bull elk, the big old antlers. There's a bunch more over there. It's pretty amazing just to stand here and watch them do their thing. Nice little side street to pull off of for viewing, and God, just noticed there's a bunch more up here. Man, there's a bunch. Males, females, whole pack of them. Always pretty rare to have a deer sighting in Southern California. We've pretty successfully chased the majority of them off. And they don't really like the deserts too much, but boy, up here, they are everywhere. Working our way up into the Klamath area, about to cross the Klamath River. Pretty good sized river. You can definitely kayak on it and do boat rentals and stuff like that. And if you look real closely, just might catch a look at the golden bear statues either end of this bridge. Over here stretching our legs at the trees of mystery. Because, I mean, you're not going to not stop and look at these. Goodness. The giant Paul Bunyan and the blue ox. Babe, as it's known. As he's known. Because as you can tell, and is definitely an anatomical he. Interesting folk art they've got out front. Definitely an interesting scene here. We're not going to be going in today because I actually have already been here on this channel. I'll post a link in there. I went there, I think it was last summer. Actually took my nephew up here for his school field trip. He just turned 6. He was 5 at the time, but it was pretty fun. A bunch of little kids running around. There's a bunch of cool stuff in there. It's actually a pretty good video. So if you're interested in checking out inside of Trees of Mystery, like I said, I'll post a link in the description. Go back and take a look at that. Man, the waves are really crashing out there today. Very beautiful, these rocky cliffs, rocky beaches up here. Quite scenic. And we're getting close. The last stop on the tour, last town in California. Crescent City, up here in Del Norte County as the locals call it, or Del Norte as the rest of the world calls it. This is where I'm going to be staying for the next few days. Got an old friend who lives here and his wife and their kid, my little nephew. Much like family to me, in fact, just like family to me, so I'm going to be staying up here with fam for a few days. finally made it to Crescent City. The long, long drive is over. The dog survived, the car survived. Of course I made it, but I always make it. Done this many times, so nothing new to me. But San Diego Crescent City is a very long drive, very beautiful. Got to enjoy some of the cool sights today along the 101. I always enjoy the Redwood Highway. Tons of stuff to see there. There's a bunch I didn't even see. Bigfoot stuff, all these random gift shops and little towns, restaurants and stuff. There's so much more to see. I've driven it a million times. There's always more cool stuff to see on that highway. So anytime you're up in Northern California, I'd say drive through it. Don't fly over it. Not the same. Not the same. It's pretty from the sky, but you gotta drive through it for sure. So anyway, if you enjoyed any of these sights, appreciate it if you threw me a like. Till the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.